Hello guys, good morning. You're welcome to my YouTube channel, the Explicit Tutorials. My name is Dr. Joseph and I teach the various science subjects. Please, as you're watching this video, endeavor to subscribe, like, share and comment. Now before I fully start the video, I want to give us a piece of advice. Now before you start listening to this video, I would advise you get a pen and a note by your side so that as I'm dictating a term, you'll be writing it down, because I will not be writing everything I'll be saying on the board. You can see how small the board is. All right, so please just get a piece of a notes and a good barrel and a chill water beside you, or chill mineral, so as you are listening to the video, it will be entering into your cerebrum. Okay, so that is up. So now let us do justice to nervous system. Please, as you're watching this video, endeavor to subscribe. Now, nervous system is defined as the master controlling, communicating, and transmitting system of the body. All right, they have the ability to control everything that happens in the body, and they also have the ability to communicate one signal from one part of the body to another. They also transmit impulses. All right, now these impulses they transmit are in the form of what? Chemical and what? Electrical signals. All right, electrical signals. Now, which means that the nervous system are responsible for the controlling, communicating, transmitting of what? Chemical and electrical nerves, okay, signals in the body. Now, they also have the ability to respond, to detect and respond to changes inside and outside the body of a living thing. All right, they have the ability to detect and respond to changes inside and outside the body of what? A living thing. Now take note of this. Respond to the internal environment of a living things. Respond to the internal environment of a living thing regulates the following. One, it regulates blood pressure. Two, it regulates digestive system. You know, digestive system is also called alimentary canal. Digestive system is also called gut, G-U-T. It is also called gastrointestinal tract, okay, GIT. Now, it also regulates secretion of hormones. All right. Okay, now whenever a person asks you this question, an heterogeneous chemical substance produced in the body, or let me put it this way, an heterogeneous chemical messenger substance produced in the body by glands is called which of these? It is called what? Hormones. Hormones are heterogeneous chemical messengers produced by the endocrine system. You know that the endocrine system is made up of distinct glands that do not have duct. They do not have duct, which means that as soon as these hormones are produced, they move straight to the bloodstream and to any organ they want to exert their function on. I said response to the internal environment of a living thing regulates the following. And this, okay, I said response to internal environment of the body regulates involuntary activities. Please, that is a key word, involuntary activities such as blood pressure, digestive system, and secretion of what? Hormones. Okay, these are the involuntary activities regulated when this nervous system responds to the internal environment of a living thing. Now, response to the external environment of a living thing, response to the external environment of a living thing maintains body posture, all right? Body posture and other involuntary what? Activities. So please take note of this. You know the nervous system is made up of two parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is made up of the brain and what? Spinal cord. While the peripheral nervous system is made up of all the nerves that are outside the brain and what? The spinal cord. Now, the brain is made up of three divisions: the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. You know that in the hindbrain, that is where you have the medulla oblongata and the cerebellum. The cerebellum is that part of the brain that controls voluntary activities such as what? Body posture, which means that body posture is under the control of what? The cerebellum. Now, since I've given us this nitty-gritty in this topic, more mysteries are yet to be what? Unleashed. Now, let's take the two divisions of the nervous system. The divisions of the nervous system. Please, as you are playing this video, pay proper attention. Do not be listening to the video and be doing something else. No, you will not grasp a lot. Now, there are two divisions or two parts of the nervous system. We have the central nervous system. Yes, central nervous system. And we have what? The peripheral nervous system, PNS. All right. The central nervous system is made up of the brain. The central nervous system is made up of the brain and what? Spinal cord. All right. So these are the constituents of the central nervous system. Now, the peripheral nervous system is made up of nerves that are outside the brain and spinal cord. All right. Now, what that means is the nerves found in the central nervous system has nothing to do with the brain and what? Spinal cord. All right. That is what it means. You should also take note of the fact that central nervous system is made up of a pair of what? Cranial nerves and sacral nerves. All right. Now, definitely there are 12 cranial nerves, okay, but that is not what we are treating right now. This is what we are treating. As the class progresses, I can decide to give you the 12 cranial nerves, but we do not need it right now. We don't need it right now. Okay, let me teach us what we have today. Now, some of these cranial nerves and sacral nerves that the peripheral nervous system comprises, some are sensory, some are what? Sensory nerves. Now, these sensory nerves are called what? They are afferent. Some are motor. Now, the motor we are talking of here is not a normal audio. It's not minibus. It's not Camry. This is what? Nerves. Motor nerves are also called what? Efferent neuron. Alright? Why some of these the nerves that this guy has are missed. Alright? Are missed. You know, we have the intermediate neuron or the association neuron. This intermediate or association neuron is found between the motor neuron and what? The sensory neuron. So please, that is for that. Okay, the next thing I shall be taking are the two types of cells in the nervous system. Okay, should I take that right now? Okay, yes. Types of cells in the nervous system. All right, there are two types of cells in the nervous system. We have the first one is called the neuroglia. The neuroglia is actually a non-excitable and supportive cells that wrap the more delicate nerve cells called what? The neurons, okay? Which means that the function of the neuroglia is to wrap the delicate what? Neurons. And these cells are actually what? Supportive in function. Please, let me quickly say this before I forget. The neuroglia has the same constituents that the neurons has. Okay, number 2 now is neurons. Let me write it out. Neurons. You know that a typical neuron has 3 parts: the axon, the dendron, and the cell body. All right, these are the 3 major constituents of neurons. Now let me also say this. Now the neuroglia, all right, they have the cell body, and branching process is called extensions. Now the difference between the neuroglia and the neurons is that the neuroglia are much more smaller in size than the neurons, and secondly, they are more in the central nervous system than the neurons themselves. I'll recap. I said that the neuroglia are non-excitable and supportive cells that wrap the more delicate nerve cells called what? Neurons. All right. Now they protect the neurons, and these neuroglia, they have the cell body, and branching process is called what? Extensions. Now the distinguishing feature of neuroglia from that of neurons is that they are much more smaller in size. That is one. And secondly, they are more in the central nervous system, all right, compared to what? The neurons. Okay, now the neurons are excitable cells in the human body that have the ability to transmit signals, electrical and chemical signals, from one part of the body to another. Therefore, or in conclusion, the 2 major types of cells found in the nervous system are the neuroglia and the neurons. So please take note of that. Then another thing about the peripheral nervous system, let me erase this one. Another thing about the peripheral nervous system is that it has 2 functional divisions. All right, the peripheral nervous system has 2 functional divisions. These 2 are the sensory division and the motor division. All right, in case you are asked to list the 2 functional divisions found in the peripheral nervous system, they are the sensory division and the motor division. Then under the motor division, you have 2 activities. Here you have the voluntary activities such as the movements, such as the skeletal muscle. Let me just use the word skeletal muscle. All right. 2 activities occur in the motor division. We have the voluntary activities such as the movement of the skeletal muscle, and every voluntary activity is under the control of the somatic nervous system. All right, which means that skeletal muscle is under the control of the somatic nervous system. Now the second activity that occurs here is involuntary activity. And these voluntary activities are under the control of the autonomic nervous system. All right, autonomic nervous system. Now what are some activities? What are these activities? One, we have the function of smooth muscles, and 2, the function of cardiac muscles. You know, the muscles found in the heart is called what? cardiac muscle. The muscle of the heart is called cardiac muscle. While the function of the glands is also a type of what? An involuntary activity. You know that glands are a collection of different tissues that are responsible for the secretion of what? Hormones. So please take note of that. This is all about the peripheral nervous system. Now I made mention of neuroglia. There are 6 types of neuroglia. Types of neuroglia, all right? There are 6 types of neuroglia, all right? 4 are in the central nervous system. There are 6 types of neuroglia. 4 are in the central nervous system. 2 are in the peripheral nervous system. All right, 4 are in the central nervous system and 2 are in the peripheral nervous system. Now, what are these neuroglia? What are they called? What are they called? The 4 neuroglia in the central nervous system and the 2 neuroglia in the peripheral nervous system, what are they called? Now, the 4 neuroglia in the central nervous system, 1, we have the astrocytes, and 2, we have the microglia, 3, we have the oligodendrocytes. All right, oligodendrocytes, and 4 oligodendrocyte, and 4 we have the ependyma. All right, ependymal cells. All right, these cells are called wrapping gametes. All right, wrapping gametes. These cells are called what? Wrapping gametes. So these are the 4 types of neuroglia found inside the central nervous system, while the 2 types found in the peripheral nervous system are 1, the satellite cells, and 2, the Schwann cells. All right, these Schwann cells are also called neurolemocytes. All right, Schwann cells are also called what? Neurolemocytes. And epidermal cells are called what? Are also called wrapping gametes. And all of the 4 types of neuroglia in the central nervous system, it is only the ependymal cell that has cilia. All right, please take note of that. I think for now I'm done, but let me quickly give us the function of these neuroglia. Okay, because of time, I don't want the video to be too long. Let me give you the functions of the satellite cells and the Schwann cells. Okay, let me rub off this one. Now, the satellite cells, all right, the satellite cells surround and cover the cell body in the peripheral nervous system. All right, peripheral nervous system. So which means that the function of the satellite cells is to surround the cell body. All right, is to surround and provide protection for the cell body. Now, the function, and please take note of this, the function of the satellite cells in the peripheral nervous system is the same as the function of the astrocyte in the, okay, let me write it. The function of the astrocytes in the central nervous system is the same is the same as the function of the satellite cells in the peripheral nervous system. Okay, so which means that the function of the astrocyte as a type of neuroglia in the central nervous system is the same as the function of the satellite cells in the peripheral nervous system. Now, let me quickly throw more light or introduce astrocytes. Because of time, I never wanted to take it. Now, the astrocytes are actually the most abundant and volatile cells in the central nervous system, and they have the shape of the branching sea anemones. All right, sea anemones are under the phylum Coelenterata, and they are cnidarians. We don't need that. Okay, phylum Coelenterata is a type of phylum in the animal kingdom. All right, these organisms, they are found in they are called cnidarians, and they're also called coelenterids. Okay, the function of the astrocytes, you have a lot of it. It does a lot of things. One, it has a function of neuronal, and it has to do with the transmission or the release of what? Neurotransmitters. Okay, now this same astrocytes, it also has the ability to control the chemical environments of the neurons. It has the ability to control the chemical environment of the neurons, and it also leaked potassium ions by recapturing and recycling of neurotransmitters. So if I should start saying all this now, it will take time, all right? But let me just round off by giving you the function of the satellite cells. Just as I've told you some functions of the astrocytes, those same functions it does are the same functions that these satellite cells do. Take note of that. Now the second one, which is a Schwann cell. This word I never like a Schwann cell. All right. You know, I told that the Schwann cell are also called neurolemocytes. Now the Schwann cell, what the Schwann cell does is it covers or it lines up. Okay, let me use the word. It surrounds and covers a larger nerve fibers. All right, it covers a larger nerve fibers. That is what it does. Now also take note of this. The function of the Schwann cells, all right, the function of the Schwann cells is the same as the function controlled by the oligodendrocytes in the central nervous system, which means that the satellite cells are to the astrocytes and the Schwann cells are to the what? Oligodendrocyte. So which means that in the next video, I shall be taking us the function of the 4 types of neuroglia found in the central nervous system. I believe the class was interesting. Like I said before, if you didn't understand what I said, keep playing the video over and over again for a better understanding. Always subscribe to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is called the Explicit Tutorials. All right, Explicit Tutorials. Please make sure you add S to this word, tutorials. So do have a wonderful day.